All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome to Morning Coffee with Captain Truck. I know I don't usually have something on Tuesdays. That's going to be changing soon when the wound care stops. But since I didn't have anything yesterday, I decided I would stream today. The reason for Morning Coffee and not Morning Brew is I kind of need to talk about Morning Brew. I'm not sure what to do with it, what direction I need to go, and what time I need to go. So I need to rethink some things with that. But unfortunately, when most guests are available, it isn't at 6 a.m. Central. Sorry. I wish I could, but most guests are not available now. They're available at about 2 hours. So I may be having to move Morning Brew back so that I can have more guests on. I really don't feel comfortable streaming on my own. I prefer having somebody to talk to, and there's any one person who could do that. I would need guests to come on, and yeah. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it at a time where more people are available. And let's get started with the chat. Good morning, Six, who says, "Oh, I'm not late, but I had to put groceries away." Good morning. And good morning to you, Six. Hopefully you're getting your groceries put away. 47 Yorktown says, "Bonjour from Eastern Canada." Bonjour to you, 47 Yorktown. Cast in the Shadow says, "Greetings, programs." And greetings, Cast in the Shadows. I did send you a DM in case you're interested, but like I said, this is just kind of a morning coffee and Uh, I have somebody lined up for tomorrow for Morning Brew, but that's just for an hour or so. So I don't know how long. Excuse me. I don't know how long Morning Brew will last after that. Um, and Mega Cropper says, "Morning, Captain Trek and crew." Pops says, "Greetings and salutations." Bones says, "Good morning, everyone," and good morning. Bones says, "A lot of people still asleep at this time." That's right. Uh, George Peter Gaddis says, "I can be a regular, but someone is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs." Okay. Um. Anyhow, yeah, Bone, you're right. A lot of people are still asleep at this time, which is one reason I'm considering moving back. Fortunately, doing that's going to put me on when other people are on. So there are some people who would watch that are going to be watching other streams instead. So I don't know what to do. I really don't. As I was telling a couple people, I don't know what people expect of this. I really, um, the whole thing started because I wanted to be a community chat, and unfortunately, because real life has gotten back to normal, people aren't available or awake at this hour, and so yeah, I don't know what to do. I am going to be streaming tomorrow at the normal time. I am going to also be doing the uh, Blu-ray giveaway at 5 p.m. Central on tomorrow. So anyone interested, tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central. Um, I know that a couple people I've talked to about this have said that people are, or they, and I can't speak for everyone, but the people were tuning in for me, and it's like I don't know if everyone's going to be doing that. Um, uh, needless to say, um, without some direction, I don't know where to go. I mean, I could be like other YouTubers and read stupid so-called news stories, but that's not what I've been doing. It's not what I've been about. I mean, I had a news stream like that before, and it's just like, okay, um, it had its place, but it wasn't Morning Brew, and it was kind of fun. And I mean, like now, if you were to ask me, you know, it feels like I've been on at least 20, 30 minutes, and I'm looking at the clock going, oh, it's only been 10, and that was with a 3 minute intro. So, yeah, You had people say, well, just pick topics. What topics? Hmm? Don't give a shit about Amber Heard. She can go shit on any bed she wants to. I don't care. Politics. Don't give a shit. Couldn't care less. Twitter. Okay, yay. Owned by somebody new. Things aren't going to change for a while. Anybody who's expecting quick change, yeah, uh, join reality. Ain't going to happen. Yeah, the Elon takeover. Well, let's put it this way. The Elon takeover still has to go through approvals. It has to go through money transfers. And then, of course, it's going to take at least, I'm going to say 90 days for them to do some evaluations, figure out how to do all the things that he's already promised, like making stuff open source. Um, and so, yeah, it's, we're looking at least 90 days before any real changes happen to Twitter. In fact, we'll probably be lucky if any real substantial changes happen before the election. Sorry. Um, just you got enough idiots on Twitter that are blue check marks. Yeah, we're gonna hear enough of their idiocy. So yeah, it's good news, but it's not a short time thing. It's going to take time to settle. Um, and as far as any other topics, it's like, what other topics are there? I mean, I know Bird has gotten on and he's searched something and found topics. And I'm going, how the fuck do you find this shit? Uh, if only the Donald could have got himself a good IT expert. I have no idea. I know there was something in the news yesterday about Donald Trump being held in contempt of court. I don't know what the hell it's about. I don't care. As I said, politics, yeah. You know, I watch political channels. I don't cover that shit because I don't want to. And good morning, Resolute Germ. Mega Crapper says, watch an episode of OG Trek a Day, Captain Trek. Well, let's put it this way. In order to do that, I would have to be able to access Paramount Plus. And unfortunately, my TV and my computer cannot access Paramount Plus. So I'm fucked as far as accessing um, Star Trek. Just fucked. It's not going to happen. Um, Okay, so you listed off multiple things you don't want to talk about. What do you want to talk about? Well, I would like to talk about Star Trek, but I can't fucking watch it. You know, I wish I was some of these big channels that had some backing and had, support. You know, somebody I could go to for some suggestions, some news items, some places I could go look for news stories. I don't have that. That's not a luxury I have. Screen says, let me put it to you this way. Let me do this real quick. Plus.com. Go here. And I see you back in the back. Cast the shadow, share screen. Tab. Please complete your registration. That is exactly what it says. You know, on the TV, the app doesn't play at all. It did before, and then the TV updated, and now it's fucked. It won't do anything. Okay. Oh, would having money backing your channel help you come up with something to talk about? I didn't say money. Not money. People. People backing my channel. Has nothing to do with money. Money doesn't do shit. I mean, with money, I could buy media sources. I could buy, DVDs, and I could buy other stuff like that. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about people. And money ain't going to buy people. Okay, I'll see what happens when I press that text box. Submit. User missing fields. There are no missing fields because there's nothing there. And I'm going to add Cast in the Shadows because I'm about ready to just scream. Good morning.
Oh, I didn't realize that I was on YouTube thing typing, hey, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, could be better, could be worse, I suppose.
And
So
good
what's going on
morning,
with Paramount Plus?
It won't play on my at all.
You just trying to get it to watch? We're trying to watch Picard or something?
I'm trying to watch anything. Be nice if I could finish watching Picard, even though I hate it. But be nice to get through more than.
Submit yourself to it then?
Because I've already paid for fucking Paramount Plus.
Okay, fair. Do they not have anything else like older content from? And I say older like years past content.
Oh,
like
they do.
Star Trek.
Yep, they do. But I can't.
Okay, so there's something. worthwhile on it. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
can't access it, then there's no point. Because they're all, from as far as I know, all their new crap is, well, crap. I mean, again, I've never watched STD, or I've only seen the pilot episode of Picard on YouTube. But most of my knowledge regarding the Paramount Plus Star Trek shows is from the Major Grin YouTube channel, where he just compares old Star Trek and new Star Trek, and it's very entertaining. It's sad, but it's entertaining.
I need to check out his stuff.
I will say this though: I have, to my chagrin and torture, watched one episode of the Halo series. For any who don't know, I'm a huge Halo fan.
Mm-hmm.
Played all the games, read most of the books. Never thought I'd be able to say I saw the Master Chief naked in the officially licensed Halo product.
No, Six, I don't want staff. What I do want, however, are connections. There's a difference.
Are what?
Connections.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was getting at in the chat before. It's not. It's kind of like with other careers, where depending on who you know, it's not even depending on who you know. It's depending on who knows you. At least most of the channels I've come across, present company excluded, they usually get very successful very quickly because of people they know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the two of us have kind of been at it for how many years now? I've been at it longer than you have.
Yeah, you have. And Kapla
and your channel's doing better than both of mine. So I totally understand where you're coming
about that. I'm really surprised about that. But at least yours.
I'm sure in like 20 years, if YouTube, let alone the world itself, is still around, I'm sure the algorithm will finally get around to me.
Well, I find it funny because on what do they call that? What's that one thing you can check? Let me go to the YouTube page real quick. But you can check on like your what is it? Social Blade. It's like, yeah, within 2 years I could be caught up to where Bird is now. It's like, yeah, that's assuming I know what I want to talk about and that things don't change and things are changing. I mean, I had stuff I could look up on my old computer, but I had everything on that computer. I didn't have anything backed up. I don't remember the news sources I was using. I don't have any idea where to go anymore. So I'm not Culture Casino. I don't have fucking news sources out the ass. I'm not Midnight's Edge. I don't have connections on connections on connections on connections.
I mean, most of the news I get are just from surfing various websites regarding news, or even just, hey, I read a news story in the paper, because I still get the physical paper because I'm an old fucking man. It's okay. Yesterday on the podcast, I aged myself very badly. And it's just, oh, here's a good story I read in the article in the paper, say on Saturday. Okay, let's cover it this Monday. Why not? It's an interesting article, and I think it's worth pointing out. Like, that's most of all I get my stories. But
okay, let me put it this way.
Hey, Bird, what's going on?
Hello, world. It's Berto Bright 5, Kapla. Good morning, Captain. Good morning, Lando. Cast in the shadow.
Yeah, long time no see. How's it going?
Yes, it has.
How is it in your neck of the city?
A little wet, maybe. Did it
A little
rain?
what?
I thought it was wet, but maybe
Oh.
not. I think
Yeah,
it
looked like
had
it
a
was
rain.
but I'm not sure.
No, our big drama today was the garbage men left the garbage in front of the house. So we don't know if it was something we did or they just filled up and will come back.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I was coming up when I heard Captain talking about Social Blade. And Captain, I think you put far too much faith in Social Blade. They have no.
I said they said. I didn't say it was any truth to
Yeah,
it.
but
Social
they can
who?
say anything they want. I mean, there's nobody that checks it up on it. It's like
No.
Zillow. I mean, granted, Zillow aggregates tons of info to have some idea, perhaps, but there's no professionals going over Zillow to see what your house is actually worth.
No.
They're just assuming, well, if you live in a neighborhood, you probably have a similar house, so you probably get a similar amount. Though your house could be half the size of your neighbor, and they don't take that into account
Right.
when your neighbor's house sells. So I just didn't want you to look at Social Blade and feel like if you're not living up to Social Blade, you're failing. That's complete bullshit. Social Blade is just a guess at what might happen. And hell, people, I'm sure there's plenty of people that go faster than Social Blade says as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just they make up content to get people to come back to them. It's whatever. Don't worry about Social Blade.
Oh, if I could remember some of the news websites I went to.
I mean, just go to Google News and you get a ton of news websites.
Or don't.
Okay, so go to DuckDuckGoose
and the other
News.
social search engine. But yes, just essentially Google search it, for lack of a better term.
I mean, yeah, you don't take the news from Google, but it'll send you to
like
places
use something like
that,
DuckDuckGo or whatever.
And for sci-fi news, they aggregate that as well. I'm always getting links to StarTrek.com, to TrackCore, to
The problem too is just if you're talking just about you want to cover news, there really isn't a lot of good news these days, so it does make it difficult. There's no way to really have fun with it when it's just all depressing nonsense. But
I mean, I had sites I could go to. I could say, okay, here, just there. There's a website. And like I said, I lost it. I lost everything on my own computer. I had nothing backed up. I lost it all. So I don't remember the fucking sites. And tell me, how do I go to this magic Google News thing? Because I haven't found it.
News.google.com.
Well, it depends on what topic you're looking for.
Or you just go to regular Google and type in news. Either one.
Enter. Oh, yeah, I could talk about that. What a wonderful topic.
Roll down Ukraine and Russia.
That's
probably the top.
That's
the thing, but keep
I said,
down. And I got Strange New Worlds TV spot and more promotion is one of the things that's on trekmovie.com.
Star Trek. What? Tues Star Trek Picard, death can explain the discovery mystery. What?
Why was the Q not heard from in? Because remember, in the future, in Discovery, they say they haven't heard from the Q in a few hundred centuries. And now, if the Q's all dying in Picard, then it makes sense why there was no Q in Discovery.
Okay.
So you fuck up one show to save face in another.
You sure it's not just really poor writing?
Well, I know what it is, but I'm saying
Okay,
that's what they're going to say.
I'm just making bad jokes.
Nintendo delayed Super Mario Brothers movie to 2023. There's another Super Mario Brothers movie. Really?
Yeah, and that delay is probably a blessing in disguise.
Is it going to be animated, or is this going to be another live action piece?
All I know is that Chris Pratt's involved somehow, and I'm nothing against him. I'm just like he's playing Mario, so. And I have no idea if it's live action or animated. I haven't been following it.
Burn Up Prey 5 would make a better fucking Mario.
I'm Mario.
It's me, Mario.
Although Bird would say the name wrong, but
It's not wrong. It's the right way. God damn it.
You guys want to see something that? Fair warning. I have to say this is not, and I repeat, not from an adult film parody. It may look that way, but it is not. I'm sharing it with you now. So far, I've only seen one episode of this show and plan to never watch it ever again or any other related products to this show. And I took the screen capture when I was tortured and forced to watch it. I wanted to find a way to get that person back. And this totally looks like it's from an adult film parody, but nope, this is a screenshot from the actual show. That's supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen, that's supposed to be Master Chief and Cortana behind him, staring at his ass. Otherwise known as the Master Cheeks. Oh, that nickname's been getting some really wide use lately.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
good morning, Darius Munchausen.
It's got a lot of use. It's been bad.
Apply, Darius.
Hey, Darius. Is it morning already? Which day?
Yep. It's morning. Yeah. It's Tuesday morning, as a matter of fact. So, yeah.
Okay.
One of my final sessions for pain, otherwise called wound care.
Congratulations on those getting less and less. Your end is in sight.
It is so, trust me, it is so nice to finally have an end in sight going, oh, yay! Master Cheeks, I like that.
Yeah,
you know what? I am going to talk to
on my channel.
Yeah, good.
Yes, pun intended. Yeah, so I've only seen the one episode. I think it's 3, whichever episode has essentially Master Cheeks in it. And again, I'm a huge Halo lore nut. I've been playing the game since CE came out for 21 years now. And holy shit, where do I start with this show? It's essentially, you thought we were doing bad with Star Trek? Here's what we're doing with Halo. It's like, yikes. And the argument for it is it's a different timeline, it's an alternate universe, different continuity bullshit for the Halo show, but that doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? You know, because they use that excuse with all the Marvel movies or the DC movies, right? Like each Batman film's a different continuity. Doesn't mean that they're all good because it's different. Like no, like Ben Affleck. This, you know, as much as I like Affleck in the role of Batman, you know, his Batman was kind of bad. So,
You know, I
I
can't.
think I have enlightened your audience into the Master Cheeks joke. Yes, embrace the Master Cheeks. I have an even better screenshot than that. Well, I didn't make this once. Like that screenshot I actually took. I did not make the one about the show, and you know, thank God I didn't make it. Someone else made it, and it is hilarious because it is making fun of the somewhat authoritarian levels of our government. The ATF. For those who don't know, the ATF is very bad. Yeah, you see full nudity. And anyone who's played the original Halo CE knows the quote, "This cave is not a natural formation. And it must lead somewhere."
Well, that's
Disappointing? Not surprising, just disappointing. New catchphrase for Cast of Shadows, by the way. Unfortunately.
that's just why.
Because they're uncreative hacks that someone clearly wanted to write a sci-fi show. Honestly, here's the problem. If I didn't know better, I would say this was written by the same people that are ruining Star Trek. But I know better, and it's not. But it might as well be because it's written in the same way, because they're checking off the same boxes and, you know, doing all the same virtue signaling bullshit. So, pardon my French. But it's like, again, just more of the same is less. You can quote me on that.
And good afternoon, Dr. Alex. How are you today?
Hey, Doc. Apparently, other characters in the series get naked too, which, again, I only watched the one episode, so I'm already... Do you know how the episode started?
How?
I nearly threw up when I saw it. They were sexualizing children.
Oh.
Yeah. And of course, fascism is the bad guy, because in a Halo series, humans are the bad guys, apparently. When, yes, humans aren't exactly on the moral high ground in some areas, but they're still the good guys of the story, because the bad guys of the story in Halo are genocidal aliens hell-bent on the entire extinction of humankind. So, yeah, I don't know how they got that, but I mean, it's essentially just copy and paste what the Star Trek shows, but here it's called Halo now. Like, they'll take some names and they'll take some visual elements from the games, but there's no substance to it. It's just flash.
And
Doc
Dr.
says he's still waiting for the train in the sun.
In the sun. Wow. A rare day. Sun. In the UK. Wow.
Just don't stare in the sun. You say the sun in the UK. Well, you know what they say. The sun never sets on the in the English Empire, right? Hey, Keely Chow. That's a
And it
name I
never
haven't seen in a
rose
while.
either. Good morning, Keely Chow. Not much is going on this morning.
Also, apparently, I'm told by a friend of mine who has been watching the series, much to his torture as well, that in the first episode of the Halo show, this, like, and a lot of this, he was telling me, oh, like a lot of the first episode is shown in the trailer, and I'm like, oh, okay, go figure. And he's telling me, so he's asking me, like, so you know that desert planet in the trailer, right? I'm like, yeah, you mean the one with the freaking Chevy Tahoe in it and the AK-47? Yeah, that one. So apparently that's set on the planet Madrigal, which is an important location in Halo in the lore. Now, in the lore, Madrigal is named after Madrid in Spain, and it's populated by Spanish people, and the architecture of the location is very Spanish in origin, and it's got like this. It's a lush green environment, like it's a Earth-like area, not boring typical desert populated by Koreans. And apparently they took another location from one of the books called the Rubble. The Rubble is like this asteroid base. Okay, cool. The asteroid base they use in the show is essentially just a brown version of Grimhex from Star Citizen. For those who don't know, I play a lot of Star Citizen on my channel, and it's just visual knockoff. Essentially, it's insane. Like how they're again just uncreative. Again, not surprising, just disappointing. But it's sad to see the declination of quality of entertainment going further down the tubes than they already have.
And hello, Chris. How are you today? TWTG content.
Anyone got any other topics that aren't related to Paramount Plus?
Well, apparently PS5 is expecting an update, and supposedly it's a game changer. I don't know how. I'm not clicking on this story. I don't have a PS5. I don't really give a shit.
I don't have a PS5 either. PC Master Race, man.
Of course, there's another news story. What to expect from iPhone 14. They're already up to 14, huh?
I thought they stopped naming them. Or numbering them or whatever.
And of course, I'm scrolling down more. Don't give a shit about sports.
Rock Yuri Chow.
And good morning, brightest day.
Darkest night.
Good morning, Chester.
Let's see. They updated. Voice chats are now called parties. Oh, this is an old update for this PS5, or at least the announcement of this update and its features have been known for a while. Much to the, I guess, disappointment of many. Essentially, it's so they can track you more. If I'm reading this correctly, I could just be reading the patch notes of an old. No, I'm reading the right one.
Oh, Lord. Star Trek Picard. This is super off the books. Season 2, episode 8. God.
All right, let's see. Some of the updates here. Variable refresh rate. Oh, okay. So we got some, essentially just some graphical and performance related improvements.
Well, that's good.
Mostly. It's not, yeah, it's nothing really, nothing I would call newsworthy at least. Because, I mean, you're going to report on like every little thing that happens ever. At that point, you're not doing news, you're doing reactionary videos, not news videos. So. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just proper terminology is important.
Yeah, agreed. Well, that's what a lot of it is, anyhow.
What,
they're-
reactionary videos?
yeah,
Yeah, it's just, label it, like, essentially call it as such, right?
yeah. I'm sorry. Granted, there are people that do a good job. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
their news is nothing more than rereading somebody else's news and calling it a news stream when they're giving their reaction to it.
I mean,
Now,
no,
not everybody does
that's
that. Not everybody does that. Some people just actually report the news and don't react.
right. And you got to keep in mind, even though most news websites and outlets just essentially get the news from other news outlets. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, sometimes it's like broken telephone, other times it's like an actual functioning telephone. It really depends on the story and who they're getting it from. Which is why you take everything with a grain of salt.
Exactly. I find it funny. I have very little to talk about, and I have more people in chat than I normally do. This is interesting.
We'll make shit up. I don't know.
Let's see here. Yeah, no, I don't want to be like. What? Some of this stuff is like, what? They're talking about. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Venom 3 and Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel in the works at Sony.
Of course. Surprised?
No, not surprised at all.
Good, because you shouldn't be.
No, the surprise would be if they were to merge the two, Venom 3 and Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. That would be a surprise.
I still find it weird that they're making all these the fad of making villain movies without the heroes. I know a lot of people love Joker. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it, but I will still judge its concept, not the film itself, but the concept of the film. And that is villain movie without the hero that they are a villain to. Especially when it's a villain like the Joker or Venom. Both characters that don't exist without the hero. Literally, in universe, do not exist without the hero. Venom only exists because Spider-Man got the symbiote during the Secret War event and then brought it back to Earth. Joker only exists because of Batman. You don't have them without the heroes that they're the villains of.
I mean, you said you haven't seen the movie, so
I know, and I'm not. Again,
I
I'm
understand,
not
but I think if you watched it, you might just change your mind because it is an awesome film.
Again, I'm not knocking the
Batman's
film.
not
I'm just
in it.
knocking the concept, like across the board for villain films in general. I just personally don't find it interesting.
Okay, but if you haven't watched it, how can you say you're not going to find it interesting?
The concept.
Because I don't find the concept interesting. Again, I'm not knocking on the films. Like I said, the films could be good. They're not interesting to me because of this. Because of what I just listed.
So no matter how good the film is, it can't be interesting to you because
I'm not saying it can't. It's just the films have come out so far just don't interest me. Like again, because they're making films about villains who don't really exist without the protagonists that they are the villains of, the antagonists of.
Well, I understand some concepts of the Joker wouldn't exist without Batman, but
because
clearly they did a film here where a lot of people, who probably thought like you, say, you know what, they did it right here. I wouldn't have thought this could have worked, but it did for me.
I never said that it can't. I'm just saying I don't find it interesting. So I don't want to watch a movie about the villain. I want to watch a movie about the hero against.
Okay,
that's just
saying
me. I'm not saying it's across the board. I'm just speaking my opinion on. I don't like this concept.
Right.
Okay. I just feel like
it has nothing to do with the film itself. It's just the concept that the film is based on.
Okay, I feel bad because I feel like you're going to miss out on something special.
Then I missed out. That's my loss then.
Yeah, your loss. No.
But if I'm not interested in it, and then I can't force myself to be interested in something.
Sure.
You could force yourself to watch 5 minutes of a show if you wanted to.
I know. I've already forced myself to watch the one episode of the Halo.
Well, that's.
But my point is, if I'm not going to force myself if I don't want to, if it's not interesting to me, then it's not interesting. I don't, I just don't care.
Exactly.
I don't know, we can go in circles on this.
No worries. I'm not going to bring it up again. Now, for anyone else out there, I'm not a particular fan of movies where they only star bad guys either. But I did see Joker, and I enjoyed it far more than I thought I would. For anyone making up their mind, just that is my opinion.
And good afternoon, BGC.
And remember, I'm somebody who so disliked bad guys in movies and TV shows growing up that I refused any gift of a Decepticon until I would own every Autobot, which I never came close to owning every Autobot. So I did not have a single Decepticon toy as a kid because I thought
that's the weird part. I love both Autobots and Decepticons, but
I love the Decepticons better because I like planes better than cars. I was not a car kid. I like planes. So
I was both, so I really didn't care. I just love the freaking
18-wheeler versus a fighter jet. Not in this day and age, but sure enough.
Well, I mean, you got to remember also the original toys before Marvel got involved and actually created the Transformers mythos we know today.
I don't
Micro
know
Machines,
today.
which was Soundwave and Megatron, or Uncle.
Yeah, no, those are the ones I'm talking about.
Soundwave's original toy name was, but they weren't robots that transformed into guns and set players. They were guns that transformed into little tiny robots that were the size of the gun that transformed into. Essentially, the toy would be the actual size. So, an Optimus Prime originally, according to the toy lore, was a mech that transformed into a truck, not a sentient robot. Again, all that changed when the Marvel Comics made the G1 Marvel Comics that we know and love now, which then became the cartoon and so on. But
when was G1?
It is fun to make fun of the old Takara Tomy toy lore.
I'm sorry, what was that, Bird?
I was trying to figure out when were the comics, but he just said before the cartoon. So
it was before the cartoon.
Yeah. The 1980s cartoon, I assume?
Yeah, it was 1984.
Yeah, okay.
All of it.
Okay.
It was just, the comic came out like a month or two, like a month or multiple months before the cartoon. But it was all in the same year.
Yeah, okay. So
that's the G1 comics, you had the Marvel, so essentially you had the Marvel G1 comics, the Marvel UK G1 comics, and then the cartoon.
54.5 Axis Radio saying Decepticons forever.
Decepticons forever.
Guys,
Beast Wars reference.
Step away for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And now they're doing the Transformers Legacy toy line, which is essentially, and I'm glad they're doing this. Essentially, just take from all the various different continuities that they have. So Transformers Prime, which is the aligned continuity. They're taking stuff from the Unicron trilogy, so Armada, some Energon stuff, some Cybertron stuff. Obviously, they're taking some G1. They're pulling toys from the Beast Wars, taking all these different continuities, just making a toy line. It's just like, here's a Starscream from Armada. Here's a Metroplex from Cybertron. Here's a what's your face, RC from Prime. It's all these different continuities getting modern toys, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, with the economy the way it is currently, I don't see it going well because of plastic, which requires oils, and yeah. Not to mention the fact that due to the green policies, quote unquote, Hasbro is now doing windows in their boxes. Essentially, they're not going to be plastic packaging. They're now going to be cardboard packaging with little windows to the toys. And a complaint has already surfaced that some people going to the stores have found the heads of the toys missing through the window because there's no plastic thing, just an open window to the toy. So you can just like stick your finger into the window and touch whatever the toy and apparently rip its head off. Also, it's a hazard for the toy because now it's more susceptible to damage in shipping and packaging, and also not exactly sanitary depending on the way you look at that sort of thing. So a lot of people have been complaining, myself included, how like, hey, why not just go? You want to be environmentally friendly? Just go full enclosed cardboard box with a render of the product on the packaging, similarly to how Lego does it.
Yeah.
But people would rather the toy be safely enclosed in a box so that it can survive shipping and handling and sitting on a shelf versus what we have right now.
Well, the whole reason that collectors like having a sealed box is that it's sealed.
Exactly. And that's another option too. And that's another thing is Hasbro doesn't get this, but a lot of specifically the Generations line of Transformers toys is mostly sold to collectors are the audience for that. They don't realize it, but most of the sales from the Generations lines are collectors, which means the boxes from those toys are not going into a landfill. They're probably in someone's drawer or some storage bin or on the shelves of these collectors. They're not being thrown out; they're being kept. So they're not. I mean, again, it's just kind of ironic that a company that deals almost exclusively in articulated plastic is worrying about plastics.
Good morning, Dave G Sound. Good morning, Snorapupus Cuber. Good morning, the Bosco Scenario.
One thing I've never understood about Transformers is how the Autobots can transform into a civilian car and Decepticons into military vehicles, given how there aren't organics on Cybertron. How do you mean? I'm just confused about the question. Depending on the continuity, there's various answers to that. If it's G1, well, then Teletran 1 with the satellite, because it finally detected life on Earth, which was the technology at the time on Earth, not the organic beings, because when you're sentient robots, what do you consider life? Organics or mechanical? And that's why they transform into vehicles of various types. You also have to remember that the Transformers themselves were built by organic beings, the Quintessons, eons and eons ago. That part is pretty much consistent throughout all continuities.
Really? Because I hadn't heard that in G1.
G1, yeah, it's where it originated. It was in the '86 movie. That's the first time you see the Quintessons. Depending on the continuity, too, sometimes Cybertron is a fully mechanical planet, such as the case in the Unicron trilogy, because he it literally transforms. In other continuities, Cybertron is a Matryoshka world. I believe I'm mispronouncing that, but essentially a world that is an Earth-like world that was essentially heavily terraformed to be a cybernetic world.
Ah.
So like there would be a core, like a traditional planetary core at the center of Cybertron in that type of Matryoshka world. It's essentially it's like Earth, but imagine they mined Earth entirely to make and then rebuilt it in like a mechanical planet. Yes, Darius. That is how you put Matryoshka world. Yes. Dave G. Sun saying collecting injection molded plastic isn't really environmentally friendly to begin with, so who cares about the box? Well, you'll start caring when the toy in the box suffers because the box sucks. That's what I was getting at, is because the box
I think that's his point.
Essentially the box has a hull breach. It will affect the quality of the toy itself, as it already is. Again, the toys are already suffering because of this issue, which means that Hasbro will have to make more toys to replace the ones that have been damaged via sitting on shelves and being susceptible to theft via the hole in the box, or just through damage in shipping and handling. And that's more plastic being wasted.
That's the point.
Versus fully enclosed cardboard box, problem solved.
Exactly. I mean, you're worried about environmental impact on a.
But you're worried about it going to cause
environmentally
even further impact. Yes.
Yeah. It's like this is not environmentally friendly to begin with. Why are we worried about it? This little thing that isn't really going to make any difference in the environment.
Exactly, and as I said before, it's a company that essentially specializes in articulated plastic, worrying about plastics. And as low spec Linux laptop saying the same exact thing, right? Let's make a plastic toy and pretend to be green with the box. It's virtue signaling. It's environmental virtue signaling. So, and it's unfortunate because that virtue signaling is affecting the quality of the product, especially when, as I mentioned, like the current state of the economy, which will affect how toys are made and how much plastic will be used and such in those toys. Now they're going to be wasting more on replacements and restock values.
Mm-hmm.
So, exactly. It is unfortunate. And again, it's unfortunate too that it's happening with this toy line because it's really the first toy line in a while that's not just G1. And again, I love G1. I grew up with G1, but I wouldn't say I'm getting burned out. I just, as an artist, I love seeing the alternate designs of Transformers. Like, I want to see more. Like, G1 has been done and redone to death in just the last 10 years alone. I want to see some newer takes. I want to see some, I wouldn't say updated designs, but more unique designs. More like, okay, here's something inspired by G1, but with a different flair or a more modern vehicle or something like that. And so I want to see people get more creative instead of just adapting the same thing over and over. Like, it's great, like the Earthrise and Kingdom toy lines from the War for Cybertron trilogy toy wave or toy series. That was great. Like you're getting these modern takes on the G1 toys. Like, and they're actually really good. There's some of them are masterpiece quality in a mainline toy. So essentially, you're getting a masterpiece quality figure in an affordable price range and in a smaller scale. And it's great. Like, I think, in my opinion, the best of the Kingdom wave has probably got to be either their Galvatron or their Cyclonus. I mean, it was incredible. But and it's great to see those guys like done accurately and again G1, but in modern, the modern toy designs. So it's actually fully posable. The transformation is pretty clean. no kibble or backpacks or anything like that. It's great, but I want to see some new creative designs instead of just the same thing over and over. Why not? It's not a question of like one's better than the other. It's just why can't we have both, right? Let's have some of the old and some new stuff.
I agree.
Especially since we all know in 10 years they're going to be doing more G1 adaptations again anyways. Like that's essentially a constant in the universe that will always occur. Which is why I'm kind of excited at some of the stuff that the third-party companies are doing, because for the last few years they've been doing a lot of non-G1 masterpiece grade figures. Fandom, I think a few years ago they made a G2 Optimus Prime and a G2 Optimus Prime repaint in the Robots in Disguise Scourge colors, so essentially Nemesis Prime colors, and both of them are really, really good. They also more recently came out with a Armada Megatron toy, which again, masterpiece quality, and they even added all the stupid gimmicks that the original had, which is great.
Cool.
But in a masterpiece style, fully posable figure. And they did an Armada Prime figure, but they might be redoing it due to some flaws in the design, but updates on that are slow to come by so far.
Wow. Well,
Well, you joke, but if I had a 3D printer, I would be making my own Transformers toys. But there's actually someone on Etsy sells G2 Marvel Comic G2 Transformers that he 3D printed, and they're actually really good. So that doesn't really, the whole homemade toy thing doesn't have the same insult ring to it that it used to have, especially with 3D printing these days.
true.
I see if I can find that because that's actually really cool.
And good morning, Eric Sander. I'm going to go ahead and play that one for you because I know you're wanting it.
Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
And now to show what you shared.
So this is the aforementioned 3D printed G2 Prime from Marvel Comics. Like someone 3D prints this and sells it on Etsy. Like, and it's great. It's accurate to the comic books, and it transforms, and it looks good, and it's posable. What more do you want?
I like that.
It actually, he sells it as part of a 3-pack. It's Optimus Prime, Scorponok, and what was the third one? There was a third guy. For anyone who doesn't know, Scorponok in the Marvel Comics is not a Titan class Transformer. He is a regular size Transformer, so he's same size as Optimus Prime. In fact, his Marvel comic design is kind of what inspired Armada Megatron's design. So.
And good morning, Meta Guide. How are you this morning?
I am just a, encyclopedia of useless Transformers facts.
And you're... I'd rather have the homemade Wonder Bread burgers.
The homemade of what?
Thinking of the Eddie Murphy story with the homemade Wonder Bread burger.
No, what about
versus,
the homemade Cabbage Patch Kids dolls? Cabbage Head babies. From his Mr. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, the Xmas special. You know what else starts with X? X-Con and Xscape. Good stuff from way back in the day.
oh, depends on the facts and on the channel.
Well, facts are not useless if you can build a channel on them. That's true. But if you fail doing so, then I'd say they're useless. Case in point, yours truly. Hey, those random facts may help you on a Jeopardy show get to be prepared.
And yes, thank you for dropping the
Yeah,
link.
because
to
many
Cast
Jeopardy
Shadows.
shows talk about Transformers or any pop culture that's not mainstream. I doubt the Transformers I know, like Transformers that's mainstream would be the Bayformers bullshit and all the live action stuff. Pardon my French for the swearing, but I mean they're kind of crap.
Not a problem.
Okay, they're not kind of crap. They are fully crap. The first two are actually written by your favorite writer, Cap.
Really?
Same guy who wrote the first two reboot Star Trek films.
Lovely.
You know what his best work is?
What?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Why is that?
It's the only thing that he's written. For anyone who doesn't know who we're talking about Alex Kurtzman, of course. It's the only thing he's written that is actually salvageable and you can turn into a decent, and I use that term loosely, decent story. It wouldn't be good, but it would be decent. Dare I say serviceable. But you can actually salvage something from that script. Everything else he's written, not so much.
And yes, Darius,
I'm never going to find this listing again. How did I even come across it in the first place? I'm still trying to find the freaking Printformers. Yes, that's what they're called when they're 3D printed. The original Printformer listing that I found, I came across this originally. Oh, hell, it's TF5.
Do not remember this Optimus Prime.
This was the G2 Marvel Comics Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
The G2 toy of Optimus Prime was a very different Prime, which the new Legacy toy line has actually remade. Assuming I can find an image here.
Let's see.
I'm trying to find the freaking image of it.
No problem.
It has the nickname Laser
Everything.
For good reason. Having difficulty finding a decent image of it. I do say decent image. Images are easy to come by, but why settle for something when you can find the best of it?
Arabic sounder.
Okay, so here is the original toy of G2 Prime. And here is the Transformers Legacy Laser Optimus Prime, which is part of the most recent toy line. This guy's actually available right now. It's a pretty cool Prime. It reuses a lot of the molds from Earthrise Prime, which I'm not a huge fan of because the proportions look off as a result, but still looks good. Head sculpt's pretty nice. I think the weakest part of this toy, though, is the lack of paint application. But the sculpting detail's good.
I don't know. They all look worse than the original. So what was the point?
Here's the
So,
War for
yeah.
Cybertron Trilogy, Siege and Earthrise Primes, respectively. Siege on the left, Earthrise on the right.
Mhm.
So, and that's G1 Prime right there. So.
Huh.
And you can see the legs specifically are reused for the Laser Prime. I have seen the $1,400 voice activated Prime. It is very cool. It's actually an old concept that goes way back to 2005. Of course, Hasbro didn't make this, but other companies, third-party companies, have made self-transforming toys like that before. But this is the first official one, and it's very cool and very, very expensive.
Oh,
I mean, the
my.
guy has like full episodes of G1 in his audio files. Printformers, Transformers in disguise. Yeah. It's transformed into printers now.
What?
I'm reading Dave G. Sound's comment, and I was making a joke because I said printformers when you're
Oh, yeah.
3D printed transformers. We call them printformers because you're 3D printing them.
Yeah.
Now they could have a transformer who's a 3D. We lost them.
That would be interesting, though, to have a transformer that was a printer.
I have disappeared accidentally by mistake.
I'll go back.
Welcome back.
Yes, we could have a transformer who is a 3D printer, and then his specialty would be
I
just.
think they did that with the what's-his-face, one of the live-action films. I think they had Laserbeak, who was horribly designed in that film, but he transformed into a copying machine at one point. Again, this was like 2011, so 3D printers not really a thing yet. I mean, they existed, but they weren't as commercially available as they are today.
Yeah.
At all, whatsoever. Some of the stuff that people have done with the Earthrise Prime is pretty damn cool. Like this pose here, recreating the movie. It's got the touch. Did they ever do a Star Trek Transformers crossover? Not to my knowledge, but I'm sure there's one out there somewhere.
It'd be cool.
One of my viewers was at one point. I was helping him work on a Halo Transformers crossover, but I mean, obviously not anything official, of course.
Right.
And stuff.
Well, it's like a shuttlecraft would be fairly easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting though, because what the hell did Decepticons turn into? What the hell the Autobots turn into? Like, especially since
Duration versus
Starship,
Romulans.
the starships in Star Trek are pretty damn big. I'd argue some of them are more, Omega Supreme size, not your normal Transformer size. So
Get a Borg cube.
True.
at that point,
Transforms.
I guess you can just have them be more Star Trek-ified versions of their Cybertronian modes from the original cartoon, where they're all hover vehicles before they come to Earth. Always
Or
like
you
that.
get Borg cubes that connect together and form an even bigger
Bigger
and a
cube.
bigger robot.
Oh, so essentially a combiner like Menasor or Bruticus or Devastator.
Yeah.
Or was it Superion, right? That was the aerial bots.
Or Dinobots never got to it.
They never did
Omega.
it. They never combined the Dinobots. At least not in the original G1 continuity.
That's
they
the
did make
only
a toy line, though,
continuity I
where-
believe in.
They did make a toy where the Dinobots did combine into Volcanicus or something like that. Essentially, Grimlock, go figure, is the center body, and the others became the limbs.
I was going to say, it'd have to be Grimlock. Yeah.
And
Of course, it has
yeah,
to be Grimlock.
Yes,
Grimlock, Mopozo, me king.
yes, Dave. You're talking about the Prometheus.
Congratulations, Brendan. That's more than I have.
Awesome. Last I knew you.
Yeah, that is really good though. You're just a few away from 500, so it's halfway to monetization.
Yep.
We'll say getting monetized on Twitch is easier than YouTube. However, making money is easier on YouTube than it is on Twitch. It is a very warped system.
I'm not surprised.
Nope. Just disappointed.
Well, wow. Already been an hour and a half almost. Bird, are you going to be streaming today?
I'm not 100% sure yet. If I do, it'll be around 4 o'clock.
And when are you planning on streaming again?
Me, I'm probably gonna do something. I'm thinking of something tomorrow, maybe on Twitch. I'm talking with a friend about it because we're thinking about doing a role-playing game thing. So
Cool.
like essentially like D&D, but it's sci-fi. It's not D&D. It's Traveler. Ever played that? But we're not sure because the other players aren't super keen on it, so we may not just stream it. But if any, essentially just tune in to Twitch on Wednesday night. That's twitch.tv/themandalorian_merc. If I don't go live, then I'll probably go live after the session with some Star Citizen. But
Cool.
it's kind of just like we're playing it by ear. But I'll definitely be going live whenever the next Star Citizen patch comes out, which is supposed to be within the next 2 weeks. So and then I go live every Monday, so that's not changing.
Oh yeah.
Every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'll have to make sure I
Why
keep
am I
an
having
watch out.
trouble?
And good morning, Pacific 414. I think with that, I am going to go ahead and call this a stream. I do want to thank everybody who's been in the chat. I do want to thank Cast of the Shadows, so Mando Merc, Bird of Prey 5. Thank you all for coming. And talk to you soon.
I do remember Zoids, Dave G.